Hi everyone, Jai Hind and welcome to the platform of StudyIQ IAS in English. And in a recent news, it has been noted that India is now withdrawing from COP33. Now, when it comes to COP33, India had bid its candidacy for hosting the COP33 in 2028, but now India has withdrawn itself. Now, when it comes to the intention to host the COP33, that was, it was put forward by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the COP28 in Dubai. All right. At the same time, in 2023, he had the intention, or he put forward his intention that the India will host COP33, and the same was reiterated again in the BRICS conference or the BRICS summit that held in July 2025, and the BRICS nation, they welcomed the candidacy of India. Now, in the early April of 2026, what has happened is that the Ministry of Environment had written to the UNFCCC, and it had cited that there are the review of the commitments for 2028, and that is the reason that India is withdrawing itself from COP33. At the same time, India has already set up a dedicated cell for COP33 in July 2025 as well. Now, this cell would have to be wound down, and ultimately after the withdrawal of India's candidacy for the COP33, it is only South Korea which remains currently the only country that is expressing the intention or the interest to host COP33 in 2028. Now, this is very important for your prelims, because in prelims we have seen that the match the following type of the questions had been asked when it comes to the COPs, various COPs which had been held. So, when it comes to COP28, that was held in Dubai, all right, in UAE in 2023. Then the COP29 was held in Baku, Azerbaijan in 2024. In 2025, recently, the last summit or the last conference of party was held in Belém in Brazil in 2025 in the Amazon rainforest area. The next COP, that will be COP31 in 2026. It will be jointly or combinedly, it will be held in Turkey along with Australia. At the same time, COP32, it will be held in Ethiopia in 2027. And now, since India has taken its bid away from the candidacy for the COP33, so COP33, it will be most probably, it is the only sole contender right now, that is South Korea, which is interested in hosting COP33. So maybe it will be in South Korea in 2028. Now, when it comes to the India, so India has hosted only one conference of parties so far, and it was the COP8 that was held in New Delhi in 2002. At the same time, UNFCCC is basically a framework convention on the climate change, and there are total 197 parties which are there in UNFCCC. At the same time, the Conference of Parties is basically an annual gathering of the stakeholders and the various parties where they discuss the future for the climate action that they are intending to do. And this COP or the Conference of Party, it rotates among the 5 regional groupings that are there, and India is part of Asia Pacific regional grouping. At the same time, when it comes to hosting of the Conference of Party, that gives a leverage because this is a diplomatic prestige. At the same time, there is a leverage of climate financing as well, that is because of the Conference of Party, it's hosting. And also, when it comes to the national determined targets or contribution that India has, so we have revised the targets, and 2035 targets, they are in align with the phased renewable transition that we are trying to achieve. Now, the main point or the main question remains is why India has withdrawn itself from the COP33. So there may be or there can be 4 reasons for this step that India has taken, that is prioritizing the national interest. Right now, hosting COP33, it would force India to prioritize global climate goals as well as the global climate financing and the needs over the national interest, and that is why India has taken a step back. Or it could be because of the busy schedule and the priorities, because when it comes to the government have cited a busy calendar in 2028 and also a review of the commitments for the 2028 in the letter that has been sent to UNFCCC. At the same time, there is a pressure on the climate action as well. There would be, when India would have hosted COP33, there would have been unwanted pressure to make more aggressive, premature and ambitious climate commitments which India would not want right now when the India is in developing phase and ultimately we are growing at a steady pace right now in the economy. And also, there could be the administrative load as well, because when it comes to organizing a massive 2 week of the conference or the event, where we have thousands of the delegates that that comes to India, so that would have been a significant burden on India at that point of time. At the same time, 2028 is the year, all right, when the next year there would have been in the 2029 there would have been a election for the Lok Sabha. So we would be preparing ourselves for the upcoming elections as well, and that could also be one of the reasons why the government does not want to host, because when it comes to hosting the climate summit or the conference of the parties, it is generally in the end of the year. So that would have created a burden over the government, because the government would be busy preparing for the elections for 2029. So that could also be a reason that could be there. Now, these are again very important for your upcoming prelims examination. These are the revised targets for 2035, where when it comes to the non-fossil electricity capacity, the target has been revised to 60% of the installed electricity capacity or the generation by 2035. That would be by the non-fossil fuels. At the same time, the emission intensity of the GDP had been revised to 47 reduction by 2035. When it comes to the carbon sink enhancement, this has again been revised to 3.5 to 4 tons of the carbon dioxide equivalent by 2035. And at the same time, we plan to be a net zero emitter by 2070 as well. So these are the revised targets or the commitments under NDC, or nationally determined contributions in the Paris Agreement, or according to the Paris Agreement. Now, when it comes to UNFCCC, this is United Nations Framework Convention on the Climate Change, and this was adopted in 1992. However, it came into force in 1994. The headquarters of UNFCCC is in Bonn, Germany, and India is signatory as well, and India ratified UNFCCC in 1993. At the same time, please remember this, that the United Nations Framework Convention on the Climate Change is not a legally binding treaty, or it is not a legally binding convention as well. So I hope that this clarifies why India has taken a step back and withdrawn from UNFCCC, COP 33, that is Conference of Parties 33, that would have held in 2028. So that would be all, but do not forget to join me on my Telegram channel. You can either scan the QR code or you can search BHANWAR_StudyIQ for reaching out to me on my Telegram channel. So that would be all. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care and Jai Hind. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more such future updates, as well as do like the video and subscribe and share this video with your friends as well, so that they may also gain the knowledge through these such kind of videos. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care and Jai Hind.